Children with ADHD get more than 20,000 negative comments by the time they're 10 years old. This quote is something I'll tell you about as a part of the 3 common ADHD parenting traps that I see parents fall into. And to help you avoid these traps, I'll also share 3 simple shifts you can make that make all the difference. If you don't know me yet, I'm Dr. Jacque, and through my therapy practice and online programs, I've helped hundreds of ADHD families feel better and less stressed. So if you're looking for more resources that can help, check out this video's description. Now, let me tell you about the first trap that many parents of kids with ADHD fall into. It's a pattern that I get stuck into. My family and I were on vacation and visited the Coney Island amusement park. My kids saw some bumper cars and immediately wanted to ride them. So we go there and the cars are all lined up next to each other side by side. We split up in 2 cars and a couple of other families joined the ride. Still, a lot of cars are empty without drivers. The guy running the attraction flips the switch, turns on the music, and everyone presses the gas pedals and takes off. Everyone except me and my daughter. I'm pressing the gas pedal, like pedal to the metal, and the car is just not going. Then I see that our bumpers are wedged right in between the 2 empty cars on our sides. So I'm trying to wiggle the steering wheel and pump the gas, and I'm inching forward little by little, but there's barely any movement. There's just too much friction, and no matter how hard I press the gas on the pedal or wiggle the wheel, our car is just stuck. And then after a good minute or 2 goes by, the bumper cars guy finally notices and gives our car a good push to get us free. So what's my point here? No matter how hard I pressed on that gas pedal or wiggled that wheel, I just couldn't get my car to go forward. Although seemingly intuitive, those just weren't the right strategies to get my car moving. This is the first trap that many parents of kids with ADHD fall into, thinking the logical or intuitive next step should work, and then pushing for that strategy for far too long, which causes a bunch of inaccurate assumptions, misunderstandings, and unnecessary battles along the way. Like, at first, when I was in the bumper car, I thought, oh man, we got a broken car. And then I questioned, am I just not trying hard enough? But actually, it wasn't any of those. I couldn't drive my bumper car until the guy gave me a push out from the other 2 cars. It's the same with ADHD kids and their brains. So here's what you do instead. If something isn't working or is hard, assume that the ADHD brain needs a different strategy, and maybe it's not the most obvious or logical one. It's not that your child isn't trying or is intentionally doing something wrong. The situation or task or expectation is just not in line with the way their brain works best. Like, maybe you think you have everything set up in a way for your child to easily grab whatever they need for school, like by the back door or on some hooks in the hallway. But somehow, every day, they still forget something. Their lunch, their mittens, or whatever. And you might be asking yourself, what's going on? Why is this so hard? How'd they forget something again? Well, the answer is that they may just need something else, and that's okay. Maybe they just need a checklist on the door they leave from, so they pause and actually see if they're missing anything. Remember, they may need a different approach, like I needed a big push from the bumper cars guy. There was nothing wrong with our bumper car, and I was trying everything I could. So keep an open mind about alternative explanations and strategies. This will help you have more accurate expectations, more empathy, and help you manage your own frustrations with ADHD. This is why my online ADHD program actually starts with this in mind and gives you practical tools to help you make this mental shift. So if you're a parent watching this video and feeling stuck with something that's not working, or overwhelmed with where to start, be sure to check out the link in the description. My ADHD program gives you a step-by-step plan with specific daily strategies to make ADHD parenting easier and build a better relationship with your child. And the next trap I see so many ADHD parents fall into is arguably the most important, but I never know when to introduce it because it's one of those things that parents hear a lot, but I feel like never really know how to actually practice. Like, let's say my squishmallow here is my lovely daughter, and she's been yelling and screaming a lot lately, and I really want her to do that less for obvious reasons. So I could try some of the typically recommended things, like notice and point out the times when she speaks at a normal volume or uses calmer words to tell me what's wrong. Or I could get down on her eye level and validate that she's upset. Or I could see if there's something she really needs, like sleep or food or attention, that's actually causing her to scream and yell so much. The problem is that doing any of those things takes problem solving and a heck of a lot of patience on my part. And I won't be able to do that effectively when I'm running on empty all the time. It's near impossible. Not to mention, when I'm running on empty and stressed, I'm probably yelling and raising my voice too. And, well, that's definitely not helping her yell less. So what's the trap here? Not setting time aside to take care of myself. Now, I know what you're thinking because I will inevitably see this in the comments on this video. How in the world am I supposed to take care of myself and do all the things I need to be doing and help my child who's struggling? The truth is, you won't help your child that's struggling when you're burned out all the time. You won't get all the things done when you have no resources or mental energy left. So think about playing the long game. You've got this ADHD parenting gig for the long haul. You cannot afford to be burned out all the time. Don't take this lightly. So my advice, the big tip that's the antidote to this trap, just start small and do it every day, even if it means letting something else that seems really important fall to the wayside. So maybe your self-care has to do with some of the basics like sleep or nutrition or exercise. Like maybe you start swapping your sugary breakfast pastry for something with less sugar and more protein. Or maybe you get in the habit of taking a 15-minute walk as part of your lunch break. Or maybe taking better care of yourself right now actually means finding a solution for something that's really tough because of your child's ADHD. Like if they talk or make noise all the time and you're easily overstimulated like me, then maybe invest in noise-canceling headphones. Or maybe you need to create a safer space for them to get energy out, like with a crash pad or trampoline, so you're not constantly anxious about what'll get damaged or broken, again, like me. So pick something small to prioritize you so you have more energy and mental and emotional resources to better deal with the tough stuff. Not only will it get easier to parent a child with ADHD, but you'll also be a good model for them because they need to learn the basics of taking care of themselves too. And I know when I take better care of myself, I yell less and have more empathy and patience to deal with the tricky stuff my kids, throw at me. So this brings us to our final trap to avoid. And it has a lot to do with the 20,000 negative comments by the age of 10 that I mentioned at the start. But before I tell you about this, I want to ask you to take a second to tap the like button and subscribe to my channel. It's a free and easy thing you can do right now to support this channel and the work we're putting in. So thank you for that. Now, have you seen this quote? Therapists online often talk about the number of more negative comments that kids with ADHD get than their neurotypical peers. Even I've personally said that estimates show that by the age of 10, kids with ADHD receive 20,000 more negative messages and corrections than their peers without ADHD. And that over the course of 10 years, that amounts to more than 5 negative comments per day than their peers. The first thing I want to make clear is that these numbers are not based on research. Since I first encountered these quotes, I discovered that they're actually something that got popular through reputable online resources like Attitude Magazine, Psychology Today, and therapist social media accounts. But there isn't a specific study that actually concluded this. And since I know that a lot of people visit my website or watch my videos to find the truth behind these statements, I want to make sure that we don't spread further misinformation. However, there is some truth behind these numbers. They were actually shared as an informal calculation by the chief of child psychiatry at Mass General. You can check the description for a link to the original article. I do think it's important to consider that kids with behavioral issues and kids who act and think differently are subject to more criticism and negative words than their peers who don't think and act that way. And we know this happens because how else can so many adults with ADHD develop self-identities that they're lazy or dramatic or just not good enough? It's from consistent negative feedback and comments they received that they've internalized over time. Now, on top of that, thinking about the fact that kids with ADHD have a harder time with emotion regulation, these negative comments will hit them even harder than their peers. So this is the third trap that a lot of parents of kids with ADHD fall into, usually unintentionally, the overwhelmingly negative comments. So besides trying to educate society and everyone who interacts with kids with ADHD, what can we actually do to change this? My advice is to start at home. This is the big tip to combat this trap. Make the feedback and messages you give your ADHD child positive. Focus more of your attention on the positive stuff, the stuff that's actually going well, and the child's specific strengths and interests. Build them up at home so they have the confidence and tools to better manage the environments or people who don't do that for them. Now, I don't mean build them up with a positive stuff in a fluffy unicorns and rainbows kind of way. I mean, instead of focusing on all the times that they left the toothpaste cap off or lost their mittens or interrupted for the 100th time or cried over something seemingly small, focus on the times, even if they are way fewer, that they remember to do something they sometimes forget or when they asked for help when they were frustrated, or when they put their toys or backpack or gloves back in the right spot. Intentionally comment on those positive things out loud to them. Try hard to keep the majority, note that I'm not saying all, of your comments positive. Put your relationship with them ahead of the correction in the moment or the frustration that it causes you. Lay a positive and supportive foundation that has long-term benefits for your relationship and their ADHD. And if you want to learn more about exactly how to do that, even when ADHD feels really hard, watch this video next. As always, put your relationships first, and I'll see you in the next video.